It's that time of the show with our regular slot where our experts on intellectual property give you tips and advice on the do's and the don'ts of the IP world. In studio with me now, I have Bowman Gilfillan's Johnny Fiandero. Welcome again to Eureka, Johnny.
Thank you.
I think today we're talking about registered designs, right?
Correct.
Well, take us through, what is the aim of that? What does that actually do?
Well, with a design, quite often when someone comes up with something that's new, it may not be patentable. As we discussed in a previous show, a patent would cover an underlying concept, a technical development or improvement. But quite often, someone comes up with something that's a change, it looks nice, it's a better looking product, for example. And that's where a design comes into play.
Ah, okay. So, but when do you know when to patent something and when to register the design? Well, you just break it down for us.
Yeah, sure. It really depends on what's new about it. If I can go straight into some of these props, if I may.
Yes, please do.
For example, I have a series of props here. These are all obviously the well-known plug adapters that you would plug into a wall socket. A plug adapter is well known. The way it works is well known. But for example, if the first person who came up with this particular shaped plug adapter, he or she could have filed a registered design.
Right.
So
no one can then copy that particular design.
Correct.
Okay.
So the design doesn't cover the internal workings. I mean, all of these plug adapters would work in a more or less similar way.
Yeah.
But what the protection of a design would do would be for this particular shape or configuration, the way the thing looks. And that's what the protection is
about.
For.
But then when can it overlap, the patent and then the registered design? You said sometimes it can overlap. Explain that.
Correct. I mean, quite often with a particular product, you can quite often file both a patent and a design to cover it.
Right.
They would cover separate aspects and the protection would be something different, but it really is the same product. And it really does give quite a nice, well-rounded form of protection for that product.
What's the process then to register a particular design?
Designs are actually quite relatively simple. For example, because it's mainly a visual protection, you'll find in most design applications it would really be a series of photographs or pictures or drawings. So with design, that's more sort of the look, so it's the pictures, and that's really it. So it's fairly simple, it's fairly quick, it's a once-off procedure, it goes through to registration, and so it's a nice simple arrangement or procedure to get some sort of protection for the article.
What are some of the other common articles or products that you can think of that you can protect the design?
There's quite a lot. You'll often find protection by means of designs for containers, boxes, containers. You'll also find it for vehicles and parts of vehicles, which is quite interesting. So you'll find the door or the lights or whatever, various components of the vehicle. You also find protection for items of jewelry.
Of course, because that's very particular.
Furniture.
Okay, and what about fashion designers?
Yes, with fashion design it gets a bit trickier. Some may be protected by design, but you really would have to look at that particular article. That's
actually quite an interesting one, because what if I go on the internet and I can see this dress designed by whoever, and I go and make the same thing?
Yes.
Well, can I do that?
I mean, it would depend. I mean, that falls more into the realm of copyright protection. So if that designer hadn't filed the design, yes, you might be in the clear from a design point of view, but there's always other forms of IP that you need to be aware of. So that's really when you do need to go get some sort of advice.